welcome back to our flower club. So this month, September, I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful dried funky flower arrangement. Thank you so much for joining us this month in September's flower club. So I wanted to talk you through some of the things that you should have in your box. So we are embracing the dried flowers trend. It's a bit of a comeback from the 80s, but we've kind of made it a bit funkier by using some really cool colours. So if you have a really nice dark interior, it can really work really well to have like vibrant colours. Also, I think just generally being around colour is kind of uplifting and enhancing. So you will have in your box as well a little vase. So this should be hopefully perfect for you to just sit your arrangement in. Also you should have a tea bag so you can have a nice cup of tea. And there will be some ribbon if you want to tie your bunch. It's up to you. Sometimes people like to just like kind of let it quite loose. Some people tie it. So there's ribbon in there so you can decide. So usually when we're making an arrangement, we look at our container and we do like 1/3 to 2/3. But with this, I think you can kind of just be a bit wilder if you want to and try and make a bit more of a statement. So the things that I've got to use here today, we've got a bit of mixture of dried things. We've got these lovely seed pods here that are kind of purpley. When you're using dried flowers, just be aware that sometimes they are quite brittle and the little bits might snap off. So if they do, you could just make a little buttonhole out of them, or you could just put them in like a small little vase. So we've got some dried achillea here that's been sprayed purple. It's funky, so a nice flat shape. And I've got some teasels here. Just disclaimer, when you're using teasels, that they are so spiky. So these are literally the spikiest spikes. They're horrible. So just be really careful when you're using them. So teasels, you'll see these growing kind of out in the wild or by main roads. You seem to see quite a lot of them. So we've got a nice kind of sea greeny colour there. We've got the bunny tails. These are super popular at the moment. Loads of people have these. Nice movement, funky colours. And I've got some nigella here. I love the shapes of this, like beautiful star shapes. And with the nigella, you get quite a lot on a stem. So I would be quite tempted just to carefully break off or cut off probably the stem, so you've got a bit more to kind of use throughout your design. Also on the nigella, you'll find they have got like little hairy bits. So I'm quite tempted just to get rid of those kind of little hairy bits so they don't drop over your house. And don't worry if some of the seeds fall out of these, because they've got seeds in. I mean, you might be able to grow them, who knows, but some of the seeds kind of do that with dried flowers. So try not to kind of manhandle them. Usually flowers can take a bit more manhandling, but with the dried stuff, you just got to be a bit careful. We've got some wheat here as well. So I love that because it's kind of quite bluey greeny as well. More bunny tails. And then we've got some of this kind of peachy Miami vibe kind of teasel. I've got a palm spear here. And then this stuff, which just reminds me of like coral, Finding Nemo. I can't remember what it's called, but it's awesome. So yeah. So in terms of how I'm going to arrange it, I quite like to do it quite bold in terms of my colours, and my textures are all quite separate. If you want to, you can mix it all up and go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 with your arrangement so that you get more of a kind of country kind of vibe. So it's entirely up to you, and it depends on your decor in your house. So I'm going to start off with my teasels here. And just if you want to cut some of the length when you're working so you're not kind of stabbing yourself, feel free to just cut a little bit off the length. It might just help you a bit when you're arranging. So I've got the teasels and I'm holding them quite loosely in my hand. And I'm going to start off with some bunny tails, I think. I'm going to split the bunny tails up into maybe 2 or 3 groups. Just be really steady when you're working with these, because they get married together and they're so brittle. Whoop. There we go. See, I've got one there already. But I might be able to use those lower down in my arrangement. So I'm going to do them as a group. If I stand here, hopefully you can see. Measure my vase. So I want kind of 1/3 to 2/3 their height. And then I'm going to put some of this nigella in. Love that. And I'm going to spiral it here so that my stems aren't going to crisscross. So I'm putting things in on a bit of a slight angle. Don't feel you have to do that if you don't want to, but it just makes for a neater kind of finish at the end. And I've got some wheat growing in here. Oh, I thought that was a wasp. We have wasps today. Don't know why I'm so scared of wasps. So then I've got the teasels in, and the way that nature's so clever is that you've got the teasels growing naturally on 3 different heights. So use that height in your arrangement. You know, already you've got that bold grouping going on there. And got some nice bunny tails I'm going to stagger down there. So they're really funky, these. I think they're ace. And if you just gently kind of, I think, dust it with a bit of a feather duster, or just like, I don't know, just gently keep them dry, keep them out of direct sunlight, so that they kind of will last. And they should last for like years, really. So I'm doing this a bit front facing, as if it's going to go against a wall. If it was on a coffee table, you could spiral it all the way around if you wanted, but I'm going to do it so it's going to be flat against a wall. I'm going to add some of the Achillea. So this is dip dyed, I think, so it looks better generally, kind of lower down, a bit shorter because of the shape of it. But if you know, as you arrange, you'll feel how you want to do it. I'm going to put another bold grouping in there. You know, you could do like all your bunny tails, all different colours, all settled through, or you could do it a bit more bold like I've done it. So I've got a kind of a 2 and a 1 on the green colour there of the teasels. And I'm going to bring in some of this corally stuff at the sides. So I'm just staggering the colours, staggering the textures down. I'm going to put that through there. So that's kind of different levels as we go on the arrangement. I'm going to put my palm at the back. And then I've got this purple, which I quite like to put through there, I think, just to give it a bit of floaty light at the top. So yeah, if you want to do it, just trim off any ones that are just not playing the game. If you want to do it so that you can just trim it and then pop it in there, and then it'll just kind of fan out and just relax. Or you can do it so that it's tied nice and tight, so that they're not going to move at all. I would just give it a little bit of a trim first. So just bear in mind where you're doing this, that they are going to fly everywhere. You might have to cut it a couple of times. And then if you do want to tie it, take your ribbon and just hook it. Make a little hook with your finger, hook it over and round. So you've got a little loop and a little lever there. Sometimes you might use your bench or your table that you're working on and just pull that. Just depends on the area that you're doing it in. I'm just going to split the ribbon there so that I can tie it, and I would probably tie it on the back to put the knot at the back. It just looks a bit nicer and neater. And then I'm just going to have to trim that a little bit. You'll see it won't quite fit in. I'm going to trim that down. But work out where you want to pop your, woo, they're flying everywhere. Work out where you want to put your arrangement in your house. Now I'll just pop that down. It's not easy getting it into the vase, but you can see how the ribbon holds it together. Just have a bit of a play and a bit of a jig. Ideally, you want the ribbon to be, the tying point to be the same level as the vase. Just want that bit. See how that bit's just jutted out a little bit there? I think I'd be much happier with it tucked in behind. So just going to tuck that in there. Obviously, they don't need any water. Please don't put them in any water because they'll just go mouldy. But nice little arrangement there. And this is a front-facing one. So keep it nice and dry, keep it away from pets. Also, because these are dyed naturally, not dyed naturally, because they are dyed, they might fade a little bit if you put them in sunlight. So keep them out of direct sunlight. But hopefully it's just like a really happy, uplifting arrangement. But have a play if you want to keep it less front facing, you want it all kind of high and fanned out. Just enjoy it. And the other thing as well is, if you like it like this for a bit and then you decide, you want to change it up a bit, you can always take out some of the colours, or you can put them in different arrangements around the house. You've got enough here to kind of do one that's a bit more neutral, one that's just bright. So enjoy it and have a play, and thank you so much for joining the club this month.